Hi, coming in real quick to show you some prep work on this table. I bought this at a garage sale. I've got the legs off of it, have painted those black, and this is the top. I've already started cleaning it. I'm using Dixie Bell White Lightning. I'll put a link in the comments. But this is a TSP based product, which not only cleans but helps to deglaze a little bit, and so that you don't have to sand. I've done most of the table already. I'm going to be in and out of the shot here because I'll see if I can move it a little closer. I do want you to be able to see here. See how there's lighter color in the grooves back there? That's all dust and dirt from this was a garage, this came from outside. So I've wiped over a lot of the table already with this, and I just wanted to do these last few grooves. Here's how nasty my water is already, just from wiping over it. But to see if I can find a clean place on my rag, I am wearing gloves. TSP is a strong detergent. I have done it before without the gloves on, but it is safer to not absorb any of that into your skin to have the gloves on. So you want to wipe it over the entire surface, and that's going to get off any old wax, old residue, food that may still be on it, fingerprints, any kind of something that would mess up and make the new finish that you're going to all the trouble to put on here not stick well and make your work harder. So I want to get in these really good because they're, dust does settle in grooves and dust does prevent adhesion. So scrubbing that really good in there, and I have a fan on in the background to make this go a little bit faster to help dry the rest of this as well. So that's basically it. Just use, this is an old rag that I've used for this before. Just use whatever old rag and mix the TSP. You mix it 2 heaping tablespoons to a gallon of water. Obviously I don't have a gallon of water here today because I needed my gallon bowl that I'm for my paintbrushes for use in just a minute. But the rest of this has already been done. I'm going to move that out of the way and see if I can and I also, before I cleaned those grooves, I went over them with this tiny chip brush and just sort of dusted out to get the loose dust out. Now I'm going to use Dixie Bell Boss. Normally you wouldn't have to use a primer under a chalky style paint, and Dixie Bell is a chalky style paint. It does have an acrylic base in it as well, so that it doesn't require a top coat. I do put a top coat. I'm going to put, as a matter of fact, I'll show you this real quick. I decided to use Honky Tonk Red, which is a bright red, and then I'm going to use black in the grooves to sort of distress it and age it. And it would stick to this surface without sanding if I wanted it to, but because there are some pretty bad scratches, I don't know if you can see that, see if I can lean it in. See those there? There's some pretty bad scratches. And what happens when you either sand or when you have bad scratches is called exposing the old finish to, exposing the old finish to the new finish, and it brings out possibly the tannins that were in the wood to begin with that had been sealed in with the prior finish. So what happens is, if you don't prep and there's been any type of sanding or any type of exposure of the old finish, like through scratches and things like that, then you're gonna put your whole you're going to do your whole project, and then in a day or two, or when you put your top coat even, because you may not even notice it in the beginning, you're going to have what's called tannin bleed through. And tannin bleed through, if you've ever seen a piece that had brown or yellow oily splotches that showed through after you've painted it white or any other color, it looked like an oily something has been sat on it or came through, that is bleed through, tan and bleed through. And I believe that this table is going to have a tan and bleed through because some of the scratches are so deep. It's going to be a distressed finish. I'm not worried about filling the scratches or about the scratches you know, looking bad on the finish, because it's going to be more rustic, and I'm not worried about that at all. But I am worried about the tan and bleed through. So Boss is made specifically for this. It's Boss stands for blocks, odors, stains, and stops bleed through. So this is going to be under my paint. So even though I'm kind of going back and forth as I'm putting it on, I'm going to, before I'm finished, start from one end to the other to make sure that the lines are straight. So that's the whole process. I know these the YouTube videos are better enjoyed when they're shorter. Just as guilty as the next person of choosing the shortest amount of time to get the info that I need off of a YouTube video. So here's the basics. If you get a hair out of your brush, try to go ahead and get it off now while it's still wet. If you don't, here's another little tip for you. If I was not able to get that out just now, I would leave it, and then once it dried, there's another one, it's a new brush. After it dries, you can rub over it like this with your finger over the dry paint, and it will loosen it, and 99% of the time there won't be a mark left showing where the string was at versus digging at it. Okay, I'm going to continue this around the table and hopefully be painting this table within a couple of hours. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, just ask them below. I'm going to put a link to the Dixie Bell products I'm using below. This is the new Dixie Bell flat brush, the Boss, and the White Lightning. And if I can help you, let me know. Show me your projects. Thanks. I don't know how to turn it off, Candy. It's still running, and I'm standing here looking like a doofus. Hey, doofus here. I don't know how to turn it off. This is like the third one I've done, and I just broke a fingernail too. I tried pushing all of those things, and nothing has, it doesn't have, should I just do the X? I lost a whole video one time. Yes.